Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together! Let's do it!
Yeah,
I love that moon in the background. It so makes me happy.
It's still real good.
I also think it's really fun that all the stars are like in the water, not even reflected from the sky, they're just in there. It's great.
It's pretty good. There is a figure waiting for me at the top of the stairs.
You have had a trying journey, young magician.
A smile dances across my lips, thinking of Nadia's last words. I did a lot of falling.
Such a journey. We went down.
I went down into Alice in Wonderland. And actually, as far as I understand, so you have to excuse me. I know we want to keep going for the beginnings, but as far as I remember, there's actually some earlier screenshots of this game, and Nadia's guards were actually rabbits.
I was going to say they were rabbit guards. There was more themes in the original concept for this game from like an Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. And then they developed it further to be more of their own world. In the way that sometimes I say this feels like fan fiction. Yeah. It was spawned from a lot of other ideas and then they sculpted it to be more of their own thing in a very fun way.
Yes.
That's it. If you are here, then you picked yourself up. Okay, trying again. If you are here, then you picked yourself up after every fall. An admirable trait.
The High Priestess gestures for me to join her at the edge of the temple. Together, we stare out at the great moon hanging in the sky.
Sorry, I just want to make hooting sounds. You will need such tenacity in the days ahead. You'll be required to have it, actually, to be honest. But your nails will never be as good as mine.
Are you sure about that? Is that a challenge?
Looks closely. Oh, perhaps they will. Ooh. One of us is possessed by an owl spirit. Ooh. Well, we don't know. We just... That's so good. Nadia, she will have a decision to make, and she will need to make the right choice. Oh, and you will need to make the right choice.
She will need you to
There we go. I'm like, I can't. And she will need you to make the right choice with her. Why? Why do you have to be with her?
Why?
I'm also like, you're one of those skinny, long-leggy owls, and it just makes me giggle.
I mean, the thing is most owls are
a lot of
I love where they pick up owls, and you go, these are on leg. They just mostly sit down, basically. They're just sort of like...
And there's so much long feathers, like you just squish up the feathers, and there's so much leg.
Yeah, like owls are like 80% feather. Like they really are.
It's like fluffy dogs that are like 80% hair, but the owls are poof.
The High Priestess turns her head suddenly at a sound behind us, staring directly behind her. Head. Whoop.
Yep. That owl head. I want to see the back of her head. It would be so charming. Stay by her side.
I turn around slowly, heart racing up the footsteps slowly, making their way up the stone stair.
So here's a weird question. So someone behind the priestess who's in front of you, she turns around to look at it, but we turn around and look the other way. So there's someone behind each of us?
I was about to say that suddenly made no sense.
Now, so we have two people.
Did she have us at the edge of the temple means that we walked down the stairs? Because they didn't say that. Is that the edge of the temple then?
I don't know, but the thing is if the priestess is in front of us.
Yeah.
And she turns straight behind her.
Yeah.
And we look behind us. It doesn't matter where we're standing. We're facing opposite directions. So there's two people that have happened here.
Yeah, I don't understand.
That's okay. Two separate people have entered the scene, and we need to see who they are.
She crests the top of the hill, and my heart swells to see her in the flesh. Nadia.
Oh.
I rush into her arms before I can stop myself, burying my face against her. No, I don't.
Why?
No.
Why?
No.
It's fine.
I don't touch her in public.
You're here. You made it. You're safe.
We stand and hold each other, I guess. I'm not sure which of us is shaking. Maybe both. I'm not... That's fine.
I'm not unhappy. It's okay. I wasn't worried about you.
If
anything, contextually, I was worried about me not making it to you.
Yeah, because you're fine. Me!
There's no danger of Nadia not making it here. Everyone's going, we hope you get there, who doesn't have a body. And who is, this incorporeal thing that's been sort of consumed by Lucio's hubris. By Lucio's, I'm more important than everyone else.
Yes.
Self-importance. What happened to your body? White man's self-importance. Sorry.
A lot of people. Ooh.
Corazon, I have many things to tell you. Much has transpired these past few hours. Has it been a few hours?
I have no idea.
It's okay. Time moves differently here, but we know how many hours it's been.
Right. Slowly, she pulls away from me, though she doesn't go far. Both her hands rest firmly on my shoulders.
So, what was the owl looking at? The High Priestess. But as long as we're here together, we can face any challenge thrown our way.
I mean, with the owl, we can certainly face any direction.
No, but again, turns around, looks directly behind them. Are we suggesting we were standing...
Damn it, you don't like my jokes! Stop it!
I'm sorry. It's true. They can look any direction. No, it's good. I forgive me, it's good.
You just wanted to rant about it again.
I did. Well, I'm just like...
It is weird!
Were we standing side by side facing the temple, and then we both turned around and looked behind us? Were we not looking at each other?
That doesn't make it... I know, it doesn't make sense. I agree with you.
But, as long as we're here, together, we can face any challenge thrown our way.
The way she looks at me, the emotion naked on her face. I believe her.
Oh, and that's the end of the book. We just
Book
forgot
17, The
about
Labyrinth.
The High Priestess 100%.
If there's not a Jareth in here, I'll be deeply disappointed.
Oh my god, right. Okay, so we already had the worlds crumble and fall through it. You know, the whole song as the world falls down at the end of the movie. Falling in love.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Nadia holds me tightly in her arms, face buried against my neck as she embraces me.
There's a lot of face burying here.
I was about to say, we were like this. She's holding my hand, and suddenly she goes like,
and buries
she's like, it's
face.
the weird bro hug, you know, where they like shake hands and then they hug like this.
But instead
Buried
of just putting the like towards your shoulder, just chest barely touching, it's the lean in bonk. All right, there we go.
As she embraces me. After the harrowing journey I've had, it feels so good to be with her again.
Was that harrowing?
Was that harrowing?
It felt like mostly... Okay.
It felt dreamy.
I would say, in a lot of ways, while I understand that there were intense things in that journey, it felt like mostly we were just dragged through it. It was enacted upon us rather than us acting in it. Harrowing always, to me, implies a lot of work that you've done yourself.
Also, I will say, usually, journeys... in my mind, tend to be self-directed. So again, I'm like, we're very passive.
Yeah, a journey is really something you take yourself, not something you're dragged through.
Yeah.
Like if somebody, takes you for, if you are compelled to fall through circumstances, it's not really a journey, it's sort of a happening.
Vaguely. I'm aware of the High Priestess strolling down the steps. We were literally up there in the pillars, facing in towards, the circle, and the High Priestess facing out. Why did the High Priestess turn their head all the way the fucking around?
To look behind themselves.
To look behind herself.
I'm wondering what was behind her. We've just forgotten about it.
I think that was a mistake of language, and that I don't understand. That's just weird.
All right. Well,
vaguely, I'm aware of the High Priestess strolling down the steps.
What do her footies sound like? I want to know.
Tinkle, tinkle.
Like Nadia made a bunch of noise running through soft, wet sand, soft sand.
Right.
And the High Priestess on marble steps is not making noise? Because I want to hear her walk down the steps. It's fine.
It'd be good. Leaving Nadia and I alone at the top of the moonlit hill. We're on a hill?
Wait.
What?
So the High Priestess was up in the temple and came down out of the temple where the two of you are, but then left you alone out there. Is that what I just heard?
I think so.
Okay. Just questioning. That's fine. Sounds like a premium scene's coming up.
My
Based
whole
on
brain
that,
is super
you're alone
confused.
now. You're safe.
She breathes it out softly against my skin, and then slowly lets go, stepping back to examine me.
Sorry. Face against skin. You're safe. But softly. I just...
Game. I did touch you.
It's okay, try again.
Hip, hip.
There we
Fear.
go. Are you all right?
Are you all right?
Why wouldn't she be? This was a very normal, ordinary journey for her.
She's fine.
There was no danger in her entering
Honestly,
this place.
I would be way more specific in this case, going, how was Lucio?
Right?
While I've been gone.
On the other hand...
because she did say, it's been so busy for the last 3 hours. Why haven't we immediately gone, what's happened for the last 3 hours?
I know. In what way?
In what way?
What did we miss?
I don't understand. This feels a little redundant.
We are not curious
At all.
Zero. None. Corazon is a teenager that believes they know everything.
So it was Nerd. Her Nerd was just like, I'm passively here.
Nerd was basically a teenager. And I'm not saying they're both canonically, physically teenage age. I'm just saying that's basically the intellectual behavior that I'm perceiving. I'm going, Nerd was basically a teenager that was like, I am passive to the world. I am a sponge for knowledge, but also I expect all the adults around me to know more and do more than me, so I just kind of let it all happen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Are you all right? What happened in the 3 hours I've gotten, goddammit?
I am. I am more than all right. Corazon, now that my eyes have seen your face again. And you, well, I don't have a body. Oh. We just said we are right. We just said we are more all right. This is that... How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I've done that with somebody on accident, but I'm wondering if this is a mistake.
I'm wondering if it is,
And
too.
you? We've already answered this question.
Is she just super excited, maybe?
I nod, though I am unsure of what well means when you don't have a body. We have answered it literally twice without realizing that is what... You guys? The game, like, the writing just fucking repeated itself. They forgot what they wrote. I'm still here. That has to be enough for now.
All right.
Nadia takes my hand and leads me gently to the edge of the hill.
Since when is
a hill? That's why I said Moonlit Hill? What?
As far as I knew, the temple was at the top of the hill, so there is no hill to stand at the top of.
Yeah.
Because that's inside the temple if you're at the top of it.
Yeah, well, and I'm also like, did we even go up a hill?
She came up a hill to the temple.
Oh, right. God,
but how is she leading you out onto the hill that the temple is on?
It's very, like, Disney, boink, on the top of a very Nintendo-looking rounded hill. Basically what I thought of.
But she can't lead you to the edge of the hill.
Yeah, she can't.
If the temple's on it.
Because the temple contains the top of the hill.
Yes.
All right. Gently to the edge of the hill, wherever that is. We sit side by side, feet dangling over the edge.
You can't dangle your feet over the edge of a hill. That's a cliff. I have never been on a hill steep enough that you could dangle your feet off it. They just lay on it.
That's a mountain.
Or again, it's a ledge or a cliff.
And also, there's water.
Hmm?
Where are we?
Dreamland!
All those are like our characters so...
Dreamland!
Like, doesn't care to describe something they've never seen before.
And other times they describe it in great...
I'm like,
great
you
detail.
have an amnesiac character! This is the perfect opportunity to share goddamn everything!
Also, we've described coming to other environments and things shifting or changing or new stuff coming about. And this time we're not doing it. We're just going, the hill. And then suddenly you hang your feet over the edge of a hill.
What?
I feel like that is not the word that they mean it to be. I don't think that word means what you think that word means.
It's fine.
Oh.
The moon hangs heavy and bright in the sky behind Nadia, illuminating her skin.
Looks like it's illuminating her hair, just gonna say.
I was gonna say, yes. I mean, a little bit of her skin.
Yeah, but mostly her hair. Like halo of hair and clothing, just
yes.
radiant. When I first awoke from my 3-year slumber...
Oh.
What?
Okay. My brain just ran, so her little top, her little thing, across her arm.
Yes.
And I just had a moment of panic going, oh god, that's how that thing is connected? What if she raises her arm?
Yeah, then poink! Boobies.
Tiddles.
Yeah, it's not. It's just the color of it laying over her skin. But I see what you were
My
thinking.
brain just freaked out. Sorry, don't mean to derail.
That would be hilarious. Okay, so if under her feather shoulder cover, if the top, which is red, just kept running to where you can see it red on her arm, even though that's just it, being purple laid over the brown skin,
right.
If she laid her arm, it really would just pop up and show everything.
I know, and I'm like,
but it's fine.
I was like, whoa, whoa, that is a much saucier, basically.
You know what you need to know?
Huh?
A countess never raises her arms unless she means to.
Everybody. Oh, it's serious.
Quietly doing this posture, just bending at the elbow for everything, just hands out.
I mean, she really does
up.
only sit like this.
Uh-huh.
She barely moves. It's fine.
Moves her upper arms, exactly.
All right, anyway.
So you just don't fight a sword battle in this thing, otherwise titties.
Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
Accidental beautifulness, that's just
I was
lovely.
just like, woo!
When I first awoke from my 3-year slumber, I began to see your face everywhere in my dreams. I didn't know why.
My face in her dreams. I remember what she said to me when we first met. But she hasn't mentioned the dreams since then, which is accurate, actually.
Only nightmares has she mentioned since then. I thought they were simply prophecies, fate trying to tell me to seek you out. But I was wrong. They were you, your words echoing through my dreams. Come find me. She did. she now goes, no, that thing that happened back then that I have never connected until this moment, now that you've been in it and had it, I now know it was real and it was you there somehow instead of just being a part of a dream.
I wonder if, like...
Remember how I said that might be the convention if they're going for maximum romance?
Yeah.
Of her going, I know that since you came here, even though I wasn't there, that you were the person in my, experience being asleep and those dreams I had. And then that one phrase kept happening again and again. And now I know it was you functionally that said it in the different kind of timey-wimey that's in here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why and how she knows that now, but dream rules she does.
Magically.
Come find me.
The last words I said to her in the tower's realm. You remember that?
Now.
Nadia smiles and nods, reaching out to cup my cheek.
I'm not sure how I could have ever forgotten it. But yes, I remember you. And I remember something else as well. I love you, Corazon. I think I've loved you since I first saw you in the tower.
What? Why?
Alone for nearly 3 years, trapped on that damned island for months, and then there you were. Hang on. So, when she met you at the lazarette, she did not love you. But when she first saw you materialized in the tower, she loved you? Or when she focused her eyes and truly saw you for the first time, self-described by you, she's like, that's when I fell in love with you.
Yeah, because I was like, first time in the tower, it was the lazarette itself, because everything had morphed around her. Like, we explained that explicitly. That was an explanation of the tower had morphed into basically her experience.
It's true. The lazarette was the tower. So you could say the first time I saw you, even then, was in the tower.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, no, you didn't.
I say, but
honestly, you were deeply exasperated,
suspicious.
like, huh?
This is so... Okay, I'm just going to contrast this for half a second to Julian's route. When Julian confesses his love, it is in the middle of the most, like, high-action, intense, dangerous scene.
Uh-huh.
And here it's like you're completely... And there's people everywhere, and there's a battle going on.
Right.
And here, like, you're completely alone in a quiet moment, no intensity of, like, time pressure at all, even though literally your body has been appropriated by someone else. There's no sense of urgency at all. And
you mean,
just like
before?
Like...
I gotta tell you, there was really no sense of urgency sometimes in that one, too, because they would be like, it's really urgent, and then they'd be like,
but they kept mentioning it, and here they're never mentioning it.
Yeah, they're really
like, there really is no sense of urgency at all. This is just incredibly soft. It's just such a difference. Wow.
But huge.
It was like the clouds parted, and I felt sun on my face for the first time.
Corazon, I am the sun.
You are the sun.
Scorching a little bit, I hope.
Blazing.
She reaches out to me, cupping the back of my head, and brings our foreheads together. So she's like
cupping
this,
your cheek, and then she grabs the back of your head, and goes pulls it together. She now has both hands on your head.
Slapped.
Yep, bunk.
Together. Her words are soft, breathed into the air between us. Just for me.
Well, you're completely alone, because somehow the god of this realm was like, yeah, you guys gonna need a moment, and just quietly owled off to a corner.
With her head still turned around, watching you anyway.
Walking away, staring straight at you.
You. Yes, completely alone.
That's totally fine. Standing there at the other side of the hill, staring at you.
While Scout is still barking off into the water, because we haven't mentioned that goddamn dog again, by the way.
Scout may have disappeared the way that sometimes things do in this realm, but also, like, I can just imagine Scout rolling in the grass and just looking at you like, wow, you guys are having a moment. It's fine.
Hey, what's up? Will you scratch my belly?
Please?
Ha! You. Through thick, heavy cloth.
Of like 9 layers.
Right.
Sure thing, you bet. With those bitch claws, it would work.
Yes.
You are my warmth. You are my past, my present, my future. And I will never be parted from you again, providing we succeed here and you don't die. Sorry, never again.
Never again.
I love you too. I love being with you. Both of them say I love you. Those are the only options. Because I don't feel like Corazon would say either of those.
I'm also just like, there still is so little, like, actual connection, and still like, hey, do we get along? Do we have similarities? Or am I just gonna keep fucking caretaking
Do we
for
have
you
similar
all over again?
values at all?
Do you want a partner? What is a relationship gonna look like to you? We had this establishing shot in the beginning of going, oh, here's this thing, and then we completely fucking dropped it.
My last partnership was a disaster. I couldn't get anything I wanted out of it. What did you want? It didn't do what I hoped it would do. What was that?
Explain.
Explain.
Like, relationships are complicated. Y'all should talk it out. I genuinely don't know how to answer this one. I actually wasn't even expecting that they were going to go, you have to decide to say this.
I was going to say, like, I love being with you doesn't sound right at all.
No.
But I love you, too, doesn't sound right either.
I'm also,
on the other hand...
The other problem that I'm also having is going, you are my past, my present, and my future. I'm like, I understand the romanticness of it, but it ties Nadia again to someone going, my whole world revolves around you. And I find that deeply inappropriate for her character, and I resent that.
I was going to call back to what we'd said before of going, I will help you by defining you through a relationship again. And going, basically Nadia is this person of going, well... It's like, I don't feel like I'm an individual on my own. I don't feel like I've made my own mark in the world and distinguished myself from my sisters, and it's the only thing I want to do. And the answer to that is then to attach yourself permanently to someone else and define yourself through them instead. I want her to be an individual so badly, and this doesn't feel like it at all.
Like I said,
And not everyone has to be. Like, it's not required, but, like, this feels very codependent.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say codependent.
Well, I'm also, like I said, I kind of resent it. And that's also why I'm like, I'm actually, like, I really was. The second I saw this, I was a little bit stunned and taken aback, because I was a little bit like, why would you do this to Nadia?
I say it also feels, again, like it just doesn't line up with the arc they're describing for her. More than anything, it keeps going, what you want for her is to stop being insecure. Stop trying to define herself or being afraid that she is defined by other people.
Right.
And also be able to make a wider connection outside of herself. An insular two-person relationship where they are your whole world doesn't connect you to that community or the larger space outside yourself, nor does it give you an identity of your own separate from other people.
Especially when she was deeply isolated by an incredibly toxic partner. And I gotta tell you, I don't think Corazon is gonna be, like, the best, because Corazon is also, like, lacking a lot of stuff.
It's still very young, as it were.
Yes.
It's still very inexperienced and very self-possessed.
Yeah, like, I don't know how to respond to this. Like, I'm actually a little befuddled right now.
I was going to say, it could be a level of, I love you too, simply in the way of going, I have come to a point in, like, respect and connection with you that this would be a way to describe it. Mm-hmm. Because love can mean many different things.
Of course it can.
And it could be, like, very much of going, I want you to succeed in your goddamn journey. I'm invested now.
Yeah, but Corazon was all curious, but then everything has been basically about going, I've been basically taken aback every single time about who you actually are.
Which means that consistently, strongly, Corazon does not love being with Nadia.
Yeah.
So it's more, I love you too, if we had only these two options.
I know that's not how it will be taken, but that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's the same sort of logic we use to answer things with nerd.
Yeah, it is. Alright, so, I love you too.
Good. That makes this whole confession less embarrassing. I was worried. Were you? Also, okay, one, it shouldn't matter how, whether the other person loves you or not when you confess.
It really...
Also, it doesn't ask, are you in love with me or do you love me? I have to say, there is this weird level of, I was worried. Worried about what?
What?
Well, that you wouldn't love me back. They don't have to.
They don't, it's not required. Okay.
Also, saying I love you doesn't ask, do you love me back? I'm guessing this implies that if I say I love you back, I receive your love or accept your confession? I don't know.
Find it really interesting when people basically confess, I love you. It almost assumes basically a level of, ownership over the other person's response and also how they should react. There's so much social pressure, at least in the United States, for saying, I love you.
It's like putting out a request for a contract.
And the
going,
thing is, it's
if
also
you
like
say-
you already assume, though, partly. Okay, so a good way to sort of characterize this. So I knew and have heard of stories of various different individuals who are like, we were at a restaurant, we'd been dating for a little while, or we'd even been dating for like a week or whatever it was. This person that I was dating suddenly asked me to marry them, but they asked me to marry them in a public space where I felt like I was not allowed to say no. And some people have actually talked about where there seems to be a pattern of behavior where sometimes people will deliberately do it on purpose to basically lock you in. And I'm saying, like, someone expressing basically that I love you, even if you're alone, sometimes feels like I must respond in kind to you. Otherwise, I'm being cruel. I've led you on. I did something horrible. Other than just going, I just thought we were friends, or anything else.
Okay, or this relationship is over. If you say you love me and I don't say it back, clearly we weren't heading in the same direction. Not we take different amounts of time to do things, and therefore we're done.
Yeah.
I've had that one before, too, when someone confesses their love to me, and I'm like, oh. And then they look at me and like, you don't feel the same? And I was like, that's very surprising, because I'm trying to, be... And it's like, sometimes there's just this really strong aggression of, well, what are we even doing? And I'm like...
And there's also that thing,
getting
too,
to know you still?
Right, that's like my thing of going, like, when you're dating someone, to me, is going... You're trying to figure out who you guys are together, if you guys even want to be together. Dating doesn't have to be for a romantic purpose, necessarily, at all.
Or if it is, it doesn't have to happen quickly or at the same time for both people. You're not the same person.
Exactly.
And if one of you falls in love, and the other one isn't there or isn't there yet, and they don't necessarily know which one it is, nor does anyone.
And don't force them.
I was going to say, you can't really force them. You can only force them to say, not really to be.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to say, and then there seems to be this level of, well, if we're in different places, then this isn't okay. And it's like, but it can be okay. You were in different places when you met. Literally, your lives were in different places.
That hasn't changed. You're different people.
But I'm like, good. This makes the whole confession less embarrassing.
I'm also like, that doesn't sound like Nadia at all.
Why would she be?
Embarrassed? Is it embarrassed about vulnerability? Is that what you think people are like? Or going, I guess that happens a lot with people who go, this is a stoic, contained character. When they do something emotional, they go, oh, that was really embarrassing. Well, I'm glad you agreed. And I'm like, I've seen that trope before, and I don't like it, because it's also this, like, weird inherent rejection of basically any expression of emotion or feeling is considered to be feminine, and is therefore considered to be lesser, or something basically that I should be embarrassed by, especially if you don't reciprocate, or if you feel a little awkward around me, that I should be embarrassed about my own personal expression.
Well, and I was going to say, for her, again, part of it has been that she's not good at opening up and she's not good at expressing herself, but she's often been just, like, uncomfortable about it, not so much embarrassed. So it fits in the scheme of things,
I know,
but it feels a little intense.
I just don't...
You'd have to love me to deal with what we deal with and not run away. Or there'd have to be a massive power imbalance where I am literally beholden to you, and this is my obligation to do. That's also possible, but you never know.
I'm also just like...
No, you picked me, you're staying with me. I'm assigned to you by the leader of our entire city state.
Honestly, that was so good that we were just like, this is the crux of our whole relationship. We're in a relationship now. What?
We are?
I've known you for like 2 days. And you're going, we should never have been together. And we're not. Like, that was the most confusing goddamn thing. I guess we've actually had more time with Nadia, come to think of it.
We've had a lot more time, but what I want to say here is going, Nadia, you seem to forget that Corazon has no position, title, or rank whatsoever. There is no equality at this point, and you also haven't disengaged them as an employee and re-engaged them as purely a partner. They're still working for you.
The problem
and
is
so
also,
going,
too,
you have to love me. It's like, I'm literally your employee, and you literally rule over me in a governmental way. I am beholden to you.
I was actually going to say, though, there is still also even a level, even if you went, I will not employ you anymore so that you can choose, there is still some level of social obligation going, who else are you going to ask? And also going, you came to me, so you thought I was the best, so I should do, like, there's so many levels of sociological and basically psychological pressures that people have exerted on them, regardless of the intent of the other person. The only way, I think, to be able to actually meaningfully engage with something like this would basically that you'd have an ongoing conversation about this every once in a while. Where I guess it's not very romantic, but somebody like, I think it'd be romantic because it'd be like, you care about my feelings. You go, hey, do you feel like I'm pressuring you too much, or I'm exerting a lot of pressure? Can you tell me, like I try to open up a dialogue where hey, do you feel like that you have too many expectations for me, or that you need to do things for me, or whatever it is?
Are you speaking to me as your partner or your countess?
Yes, exactly.
And
Like,
that's just your line for when things get stressful or strange.
Yes, and
You know?
that would be really interesting. It would be so much more character.
A lot.
Anyway.
And not run away. Slimy worms, missing bodies, world's worst goatman. I mean, how many goatmen do we have to compare him to, really? He's technically, if he's the only one you've seen, also the world's best goatman.
Yeah, the bar is anywhere.
It is.
It's anyone's game at this point.
It's the whole thing is all him. It's like when we had a guest on our Twitch channel, him being the first guest, and Howl was lovely. It's like he is both the best and worst guest we've ever had.
Yes, exactly. It was marvelous.
He was beautiful. Honestly, after you stuck around for all that, I'd be more surprised if you didn't love me.
Okay. Or again, I am contracted to do this for you. You are my countess. Anyway, we're moving on. Nadia stops and blinks and then blushes when she realizes what this means. What does it mean?
I love you. You just said that. Wait, what does it mean? If it doesn't mean because it already meant I love you, what does it mean now?
She leans forward and kisses me, then leans back and pulls me right into her lap. How big do you think I am? Also, I guess I don't have a body, but if my expectation for my reality is that I will still have pain, I don't like that very much.
Yeah.
Stop it. I'm also like,
realizes what? Realizes what this means. I love you. You already said that. This conversation started with I love you. So what does it mean? But I guess we're going to have to explore what it means in the next one! Well, thank you for that. I honestly love thee. Are you speaking to me as my countess? As your countess or as your partner?
Yes.
I like that. That's probably my favorite thing I came up with this round.
Yes, that's very good. I appreciate it. So thank you very much, though, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to interact with the video, like, comment, subscribe. It actually does a lot for us in regards to the YouTube algorithm. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch.
Yep.
We have some links in the description down below. We'd love it if you check it out. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!